Good morning, Central High School. Welcome back to the 2018-2019 school year. We wanted to take this opportunity for you to have our student orientation with your advisors today, so that at the end of the orientation you can have questions that your advisors may be able to help you with. I've got a few topics I want to address with you. First of all, for students that are new to Central High School, I am Mr. Vickers, the principal. I'm glad to have you all here. Looking forward to a great school year. First thing I want to talk about is Tardies. Our Tardies Tardies this year started yesterday as far as keeping track of them. Just a reminder that if you're late to school, then you need to come check in with Miss Beverly. If you're late to a particular class, then you go to the secretary's office for whoever's class you're tardy to. For example, if I have a class in the freshman academy and I'm late to that class, I go check in with Miss Hall. Just a reminder that tardies accumulate by period. If you get 4 tardies to second period, that is a referral. If I get 4 tardies to fifth period, that's my second tardy referral. So tardies are a big thing here at Central, but we have the sprint bell, so everybody needs to get to class on time. We listened to the class officers last year in the student body, and we heard your issues with the way that we did too late from lunch. If you were late from lunch, you automatically got skipping, and that was not fair. So we listened to you all, we changed it. If you are too late from lunch, you go to Miss Beverly and you get a tardy for that day. So you would have to accumulate 3 tardies from lunch on your 4th when you would get a punishment. So we understand that wasn't quite fair. We fixed that. So, but the biggest thing is you should be on time when you're coming back from lunch anyways. Next thing is, if you happen to get administrative detention, which we hope you don't, but if you do, just a reminder that if you're assigned administrative detention, we give you 4 or 5 days over a week to get those 2 days in. So there's no excuse. Just don't wait till the last 2 days, because then when an emergency happens, then you've missed that opportunity. If you have administrative detention, this is very important, you have to be in the cafeteria by 5 minutes after 4, just like a tardy bell. You report to the cafeteria. There'll be a teacher, either Miss Abram, Miss Palorino, or Miss Gibson, that will call on the microphone on the stage and say, everybody who has administrative detention report to the stage, and then they'll take you to their classroom where you'll have to bring materials with you to do study hall for the time period till 5 o'clock. Again, if you get there after 4:05, then that day doesn't count. On track to graduate. This primarily pertains to seniors. Just a reminder that the number one goal here is for you to graduate. So we always talk about being on track to graduate. That means you've got the credits you need. You're passing the class you have to have. Just to motivate you to ensure that you are on track to graduate. You know that if you're not on track to graduate, we don't let you do things like prom, senior picnic, and those type things. It's not so much a punishment, it's just a motivation to get you where you need to be. And that, since we've implemented that in the last 5 years, we've gone from a 70% graduation rate to a 95% graduation rate. So that's the goal. So make sure you stay on top of credit recovery. We started that this week. So if you needed to make up some credits, you need to make sure you got signed up for that. And if you couldn't do it this 9 weeks, then make sure you're doing it next 9 weeks. Also want to talk to you about class officer nominations. Tomorrow, which will be Thursday as you're watching this, Thursday during lunch and Friday during lunch, we will have class officer nominations on stage. So please come up during your lunch on Thursday and Friday and nominate, or you can sign up yourself or nominate someone to be a class officer. We'll have a sign-up sheet for the 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. You will just be nominating them for an officer position. You do not have to designate what that position is. We're going to do it a little differently this year. We're going to take the top 4 persons that receive the 4 votes, the most votes for those 4, and then we'll come back and then we'll elect the president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary from those 4. So it won't be necessarily that you're just signing up for a particular position. You're just signing up that you want to be a class officer, and then we'll take the students to get the highest 4 places in votes, and then we'll elect the actual positions from there. In-school suspension and out-of-school suspension. If you happen to get that, I hope you don't, but if you get in-school suspension, just a reminder that most of your work is usually done on the Chromebook. You are responsible for getting that work back to the teacher. So the teacher may send it to you, but you have to get it back to the teacher. If you get out of school suspension, this is a reminder that you must bring a parent back with you in order to get an excused admit slip to get back into school. and you'll need to make sure that you'll have to let your teachers know that you got excused at mid-slip, and so that you can get your makeup work. As far as makeup work is concerned, you need to make sure that if you're absent, you get excused at mid-slip. You give your note to your first period teacher, they give you a mid-slip. You show that to all your teachers and get your makeup work in as quickly as possible. Attendance is very important. You need to be here every day. I believe Dr. Parker is going to expound upon that a little more, but please make sure you're in attendance every day. Medication. If you're given medication by a doctor or even over-the-counter medication, you need to make sure you turn that into the nurse with the prescription, and don't be carrying it around with you in person on school grounds. Food in the classrooms. You know, we really try to keep our classrooms as nice as possible. This campus is a beautiful campus, even though it's 27 years old, but it's because we do a great job taking care of it. So we ask that you not bring hamburgers and Chick-fil-A and all that stuff into the classrooms. I understand you may have a bottle of water or you know, something like that, but you know, I don't have a problem with that. Just don't be bringing in pizzas and things like that. We don't want roaches and rats everywhere, so keep those out of the classroom. Last thing I want to say, each year the school years have gotten better and better. Use your class officers for ideas and suggestions. They'll meet with me on different things, and if they have a good plan and it's something that's feasible, we'll usually do those things, but work through your class officer on those things. Look forward to seeing everybody Friday night at Meet the Devils. Remember, you have to bring one canned food item in order to get in the event for Meet the Devils, and that canned food item will go to a local food bank. Look forward to a great year, and go Red Devils. Thank you.
Hey guys, it's Dr. Parker. I know y'all have heard me before, so we won't get into all of the formalities. But real quick, so I'm supposed to go over different parts of the fun handbook with you guys. So let me start by talking about your dress code, please, and thank you. First of all, you know what you're supposed to wear and what you're not supposed to wear, but let me just remind you so that we don't lose our minds correcting you. First of all, things that go on your head, like caps, hats, stocking caps, hair rollers. Yeah, no, we don't do that. Skull caps, you know, headgear. As far as clothing goes, I should not know what kind of underwear you have on. For you guys, remember, I am short. So I'm right at the behind level, so please keep your pants pulled up. Girls, I don't need to know what color bra you have on. So I'm just saying. Things that have some kind of profane language on it, pictures that make me blush, that's a no-go too. Don't do it. Sunglasses, you know, we have lighting, I know, but it's not too bright, so let's not wear those. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, the biker and spandex shorts. Yeah, no, don't go there. Make sure that your clothes fit appropriately. As far as the length of your shorts, dresses, skirts, whatever, they gotta be fingertip length. Now, for those of you that are vertically challenged like myself, that's not too terribly hard because it's hard to find things that are really short. But for those of you that have legs, it can be quite a challenge, and I understand that. However, fingertip length, and that goes for the guys as well, please, and thank you. The other thing, you know, just keep in mind your appearance, y'all. The goal here is not to tell you what you can and can't wear, but we are trying to grow you professionally. And ask yourself, you know, if I were going to a bank to get a loan, is this something I would wear? Well, you sure wouldn't go in wearing your house shoes and pajamas and hair rollers. Because they're probably going to decline your loan. So think along those lines. I know another big issue, and I get it, I do, but the holes in the pants, okay? Please, I've seen some really extra holes in the pants the last couple of weeks. Let's just not go there. The holes have to be below fingertip length. If they are not, you have to have something on up underneath your pants. And nothing pleases my soul more than to come up to somebody and say, hey, your holes are too much. Do you have some leggings? And you go, oh yeah, I have those. Well, then you knew when you left the house this morning that that was not appropriate. So please, I'm begging you, make my day start nicely by not having to address what you did not wear to school. So enough of that. We're good there. On a more positive note, let me talk about Winning Attitude Fridays, otherwise known as WAF. I know right now Mr. Howell is desperately compiling the list of the students that qualify for this time. But just to let you know, first of all, in order to qualify, you had to have a grade in every course that you took of 75 or higher, okay, in every course. Now, some of y'all, I know Algebra 2 kicked your butt and it knocked you out. I'm so sorry. But it had to be 75 or higher per class. Also, you had to have no discipline referrals for that 9 weeks. So if you didn't make it this time, shoot to make it next time. We do a lot of fun things. Number one, you get out of class. But we do things like concerts and different things out on the track where we bring in the cone of ice and all kinds of stuff. So I encourage you, if you didn't get it this time, you should strive for that next time. And Mr. Howell wanted me to tell you that he will try to get those passes out to you next week. So just hang tight a little bit longer on that. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about, let's talk about exam exemptions real quick. Here's the down and dirty. All right, so in order to exempt your exams at the end of the semester, you have to have an A average in that particular class. Also, again, no discipline referrals, okay? We like you to behave and do what you're supposed to do. We try to reward that. So no discipline referrals that keep you from being absent from that particular class. Now, this always gets asked, how many exams can I exempt? Well, any of those that you qualify for. So if you qualify, if you have the A and no discipline referrals for all 7 classes, then you get to exempt all 7. Now, for those of you that are doing the dual enrollment classes and some of the APs, the AP classes, unfortunately, you probably still have to take the exam. I know the AP classes, they work with you guys on those and everything, but I know if you are getting dual enrollment credit, you cannot exempt for that class. So again, so sorry. But this too shall pass, and so will you. All right, next is the tobacco and vaping. All right, all I'm going to say about that is, you know, you shouldn't do it. Number one, it's bad for you. But number two, it's just a no-no. We are a no-smoke campus, no tobacco campus. That goes for vaping as well. So those of you that are walking around with your little jewels thinking you're being all cute and everything, yeah, we know about those too. So that's all I'm going to say about that. The next thing, your counselors. Know who your counselors are. Okay, we have a 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade counselor. They have sign-up sheets out on the window on Miss Jenkins' side of the office. If you need to see a counselor to talk about your grades, or you want help with a scholarship or something along those lines, use those sign-up sheets. They will get to you. Now, that being said, if it's a dire emergency and you need to speak to a counselor immediately, then that's a whole different ballgame. We don't make you sign up for that, okay? We talk to you then. But if it's something that, you know, you can wait 5 minutes to talk to them about, they'll call you up and talk to you during lunch. The other thing I have, parking permits. Those haven't gone out yet because we're still completing those for you guys. But remember, if you park on my lovely campus, you must have a parking permit that costs you $5. All right, so if you haven't taken care of that, we need to get that done ASAP. At some point, Mr. Griffin will start sending around people to ticket you for not having your parking permit. So make sure you have that. That is, of course, after we start handing them out. Let's see. All right, I've covered everything on my list. Oh, the only other thing I have left, excessive absences. All right, so let me break it down for you. Here's the deal. Bottom line, if you're not... if you are here, you have to be here, because that means you're not old enough to be somewhere else. So you have to be in school. State law requires that. And remember your little form that you signed when y'all were signing up, talking about what would happen if you missed this many days and that many days. Bottom line, after we start hitting more than 7 unexcused absences, now we got court problems. And hopefully we get to that before we get to the 7, but I need you to understand this is big. This is a big deal. It's a big deal for your parents because court is not free. They have to pay. There's typically court fines that go along with that. And also, and this is the biggie, we can take your driver's license for you not coming to school. It has been done. We will continue to do that. So I know that may be a surprise to some of you guys, but yes, that is the policy. So bottom line, I need you to be here, because when you're not here, you're missing your work, you're not getting things done, you fall behind, you're not on track to graduate, which Mr. Vickers talked about in his orientation part. So, I mean, you know, bottom line, at the end of the day, you got to do the stuff anyway. So be here and get it done. But I do just want to throw one other thing out at you guys. We're always here for y'all no matter what. I love each and every one of you. I know I say at the end of my announcements and stuff, love you, but I do mean it. So if you ever need any help with anything, please don't hesitate to come and ask. And I think that pretty much covers my whole list. So, love you.
Hey Red Devils, my name is Jason Sasser. I am the Career Tech Director for Phoenix City Schools. My office is located on campus here in the Career Tech building. My portion of our student handbook to cover with you is going to involve leaving campus, cell phone policy, bus procedures, and we'll go on from there to get into a few more specifics. But first I'm going to be starting with leaving campus without permission, okay? Also known as skipping. All right, there's a few things that you need to be aware of when it comes to this. Number one, don't do it. Okay, there are proper ways for you to go about leaving campus should the occasion arise, but where you're going to be tempted the most is you're going to think you've got time to leave campus during lunch and run up here to Taco Bell and grab something to eat and come back. Well, that is called skipping. Okay, you cannot leave campus once you are here on campus, whether you have checked in or not. When you physically set foot on this campus, you are at school, okay? So do not leave campus without permission, all right? That is considered skipping, and there are consequences that come along with that, and those consequences progress for the more often you commit these violations. Truancy is in this same area. Truancy is when you skip an entire day of school without a legitimate reason. You just decide, hey, it's Friday, I'm gonna go ahead and take a little early vacation. I'm not going to school today. I'm not sick, I don't have a doctor's appointment, there's nothing wrong with me. I got halfway to school and decided, nope, not going today. Well, that is called truancy. Okay, we do have a truancy officer for the Phoenix City School System, and if you make certain amount of those choices where you're just not coming to school for no legitimate reason, his office will be contacting you and your parents, your guardians, and you guys will be scheduled a court date in which you will have to appear before the juvenile courts. Your family will be charged court fees, and then you will be obligated to justifying the number of absences from school with no good reason. So you can save yourself a lot of headache, save your family some money in court fees, and just come to school, okay? We'll try to treat you the best we can once we get you here, all right? So that's truancy. I talked about leaving campus, okay? Should the occasion arise, say you've got a 2 p.m. doctor's appointment, you're gonna come to school, you're gonna check out in time to make it to that doctor's appointment. Not a problem. You can bring a note, you can have a parent call, but whatever the means is for you to legitimately check out from school, you are going to need to physically walk to the main office on the academic campus, and you're going to sign yourself out or have your parents sign you out. Please don't think just because mom has called and you're supposed to leave at 2 that at 2 o'clock you can just jump up and get in your car and take off. All right, you have to go by the main office, physically sign yourself out, or have a parent come in and physically sign that paper, okay? Don't forget that step. A number of Red Devils have found themselves in trouble for forgetting that step, physically sign out, whether it's you or your parent or guardian, okay? Speaking of leaving class, always make sure you have a pass from your teacher. Okay, whether you're going to the restroom, the media center, even if you've been called to see a counselor, for example, in the middle of your English class, make sure you get a pass from your teacher with appropriate information on there. That would be the date, your destination, your name, what time you left. And then when you get to that location, the person there responsible for you will fill out the same information when they send you back to class. So just make sure you always have a pass when you leave office explaining where you're going, or leave your classroom, I should say. One other thing on skipping before we move on, one common mistake that students make is, I believe everyone is clear on the definition of skipping as far as just like leaving campus. Everybody knows that skipping, or hey, it's third period and I really hate that class, I'm just gonna go duck out in the bathroom for an hour. Well, that's skipping, and everybody knows that. One little thing that people don't completely understand is skipping is any time that you're anywhere on this campus that you don't have permission to be. So if you raise your hand and ask your teacher, hey, can I return this library book, you know, because it's due today, they give you permission, they write your pass. You go to the library, but it's fourth period, it's lunch. You know your best friend is in the cafeteria right now. You go up there, you sit down, you chit chat briefly with that person, and then you go back to class, you're skipping. You didn't have permission to go to the cafeteria. You didn't have permission to sit there and have that conversation. You had permission to go to the library, return the book, and then come back to class. Don't get caught up in that, okay? That is considered skipping, and the consequences will be dealt either during fourth period by an administrative intern or by Mr. Vickers, Dr. Parker, Mr. Griffin, or myself, depending on the class, time of day in which it occurred, okay? Cell phone policy for Central High School, okay? Please hear this. The official policy at Central High School and cell phones is that your cell phones can be used outside of class time, not inside of class time, unless your teacher has given you permission to use them, okay? My wife, for example, is a math teacher here at Central. I know that there's an occasion where she has her students pull their cell phones out. She shows them how to turn their calculators into a scientific calculator, and they have used those in class on occasion. If that's the case, if your classroom teacher has a policy that allows you to get them out for whatever reason, then that's between you and that classroom teacher, okay? The official policy for Central is they should not be out and on during class time, of course, unless your teacher has given you permission to do so, okay? Any violation of the cell phone policy or the electronic device policy, the consequences are on the first offense. If you are referred to the office by a teacher or someone else, the school takes your cell phone and requires a parent or a guardian to come pick it up from school that afternoon. If you get a second offense, then that phone is taken and it is kept for a period of time before it's returned to you, okay? So just make sure you all should know what Central's policy is now, because I've told you. Cannot be used in the class unless your teacher has given you permission to do so, okay? Honestly, it's pretty difficult today to get a cell phone violation now, given the leniency of that rule, okay? Earbuds, all right? In some of your classes, earbuds are required for some things that you're gonna do in class, okay? So that's fine. You can get earbuds very, very cheap. You can get them at the dollar store for $1 or less. But the policy at Central is from the bell to begin the day where you start coming into the building and going to first period, your earbuds should go up. Put them in your pocket, your backpack, whatever. Please do not have them in your ears walking up and down the hallway. Don't even have them hanging around your neck. Go ahead and put them in your pocket, your backpack, your purse, ladies, whatever, out of sight during the school day. When you get to that class in which the teacher needs you to use the earbuds, pull them out, use them, class is over, pack them back up again. All right, please do not have them in your ears or around your neck walking up and down the hallways, okay? That is a violation. Those earbuds could be taken away from you for a period of time, okay? So make sure we're following the rules when it pertains to earbuds. Many of you, most of you in fact, have also been issued a Google Chromebook by the school system. Please know that that device belongs to the Phoenix City school system, okay? It's on loan to you for educational purposes, okay? If you are found navigating on your Chromebook to any inappropriate sites, okay? You could lose the privilege of the Chromebook. That could be taken from you. You lose your $25 deposit and you will not be issued another one, all right? Likely for the duration that you were here as a student at Central, okay? We all know there are certain sites that you could navigate to that would be considered a Class 3 offense, okay? I think we know what those sites are, adult content type sites. It's not just limited to those type sites, but those are most frequently the ones that could land you with a Class 3 offense. Class 3 offense means that you would be suspended pending a disciplinary hearing with our hearing officer for the school system. And the hearing officer's ruling could range from anything from taking that device away from you permanently to placing you at our alternative school for a period of time. So make sure that we're only going to appropriate sites with our school-owned Chromebooks. Okay. Next topic that we need to address are the buses. Hopefully by now you have figured out how the buses work in the afternoons in particular. We have a row of 9 to 11 buses that park on the access road between the high school and the freshman academy. Those are typically going to be the same buses each day. They might not be in the same order, but it's typically the same buses. If there's anything out of the ordinary, we're going to try to make an announcement to you before dismissal. All the other buses come in front of the Career Tech building on Central's campus. There is a chalkboard out there, guys. There's a chalkboard out there on one of the pillars. And every day we will list where your bus is located, either at the Freshman Academy or what position it's in at Central. Please take a look at that chalkboard, okay, to help you find your bus. Riding the bus to and from school is a privilege. The Phoenix City school system is not required to even have school buses. But of course we do, because we know there's a lot of you that couldn't get here otherwise. But please know that it is a privilege for you to be able to ride that school bus. Any violation of the school bus procedures, policies, the rules, for the first offense, depending on how minor or major the offense is, you could be suspended from riding the bus for a period of 5 to 10 days. Should you get a second violation, you may lose privilege from riding that bus for the entire semester. All right, once you get back on the bus, if you get a third violation, you could lose the privilege for the entire school year, okay? So please keep that in mind. Please just find yourself a seat and let that driver take you home, okay? It can be that easy if you allow it, all right? When we're on buses, there's a new policy this year. If you have a need to ride a bus that you were not assigned to, this afternoon you've got to go to grandmother's house instead of your house, and that means you got to get on a different bus. You need to bring a written note explaining that to Miss Jenkins in the main office 24 hours before you have to get on this alternative bus. From there, Miss Jenkins takes over. She can get you a pass. She will physically print something off and give it to you right then and there, or she'll have it delivered to you later in the day. You can present that to the driver of the bus that you're going to need to ride in that alternative situation. Okay? Moving down my list here, I'd mentioned Class 3 offenses. Those are the major offenses, okay? The one I need to talk to you next is fighting. Last year, fighting on campus was not really an issue. Did we have some fights? Yes, I think most high schools do, okay? But we had probably fewer fights than we've ever had before. But please know this, okay? Don't fight at school, all right? Because if you do, it's always going to be considered a Class 3 offense, which means the parties involved in the fight they're going to be suspended from school pending a disciplinary hearing. Okay, or pending a meeting, in which case our hearing officer is going to make a determination about your punishment. It is almost always going to be an alternative placement, probably for a period of 45 days. Are there exceptions? Yes, they are, but those are very few and far between. Just know that you involve yourself in a fight, you will be suspended from school, you will have a disciplinary hearing, and likely be placed in an alternative setting for a period of 45 days, okay? Anyone caught running up to a fight and whipping out their cell phone and recording it, that is also a Class 3 offense, because you are violating rights, recording people without their permission there, and then We have had students in the past go and post those things on social media, different platforms. That is absolutely a violation of those people's rights. Their parents may get involved at that point. Speaking of, if you do choose to involve yourself in a fight up here and our staff is there to separate you, to pull you apart, and you allow it to escalate and become worse and worse and worse, basically if we show up and say, hey, quit, and you don't, then you could have charges pressed against you through the Phoenix City Police Department. And again, back to one of the first things I told you, now you've obligated yourself and your families for court dates and court costs. Okay? Don't do it. Don't do it in general. Definitely don't do it here at school. All right? Profane language. Okay? Of course, obscenities, profanity is not allowed on campus. Don't talk to each other like that in a class change. Definitely don't use that language inside of a classroom. Okay? There are consequences for using profanity here at school. Please know if you use profanity directed to any Phoenix City School Board employee, whether it's a teacher, administrator, custodian, cafeteria staff, bus driver, that is also considered a Class 3 offense. You will be suspended for a disciplinary hearing. Okay? Get rid of that summer mouth, and you're back at work now. Okay? You're back at school. Easy on the profanity. Try to eliminate it altogether, especially when addressing a board employee. Okay? So that's a lot of kind of negative things, I guess, but it's just rules, guys. It's just rules. And hopefully we can all abide by those, and we can have a great year just like we did last year. Last year was a really great year, and we want you to enjoy your time here at Central. There's a few things that we put in place in recent years that I want to make you aware of to celebrate some of the cool things that we have going on at school, some of the individual accomplishments. When you come into the main entrance of Central High School, you'll notice a big video board. Career Tech had that video board there installed to display different accomplishments of our students, different events that we have coming up, just a way to showcase and kind of show off what, you know, the good things that are happening here at Central High School. If there's anything coming up that you would like displayed on that board, if it's related to school, okay, or one of our clubs or something like that, let me know. Okay, I can make that happen. We can develop some content. We can put that out there on the board for you. We also have a system. We have 10 screens located throughout this entire campus that's running software called Inplug, and that's a message board system. Okay, if you have announcements about your upcoming club or organization or a competition, or you want to celebrate an accomplishment of one of our faculty or staff, let me know. We can make that happen as well. Okay, we try to handle the general announcements about when this club is meeting and where through that message center. So you can talk to me or Mr. Lorman, who is in charge of RDTV, television production program, and we can put that messages out there for you. Okay. Also, if you're not already, make sure you're following Central on our social media accounts. We also try to publicize things there that are happening, due dates that are coming up, general things that are happening in school. That's a real easy way to follow. And again, if you need to put something out there to the general public pertaining to school business, let me know. Let Mr. Lorman know. We can make that happen for you. Looking forward to another great year here at Central High School. Go Red Devils.